Hello everyone and welcome to Pick Your Poison. Today we will be starting a new mega campaign in Crusader Kings 3. This will be my first mega campaign and we will see how it goes. Of course, everything will be in Iron Man mode, that way achievements are eligible and we can't just save scum and go back to a previous save. Now, without further ado, let us begin the most important step of our game. We have to select our capital province as well as create our custom ruler. Now, in CK2, Ireland was a great starting point for those who were not just getting into the game, but people who were looking for a decently relative easy time starting out, as it was colloquially known as Newbie Island. Ireland in CK3, while it is a nice place to start, that is not where we will be starting today, as you can see on the screen. Now, the place we are going to be starting is in the Scandinavian area, more specifically Norway, or the Norwegian region, because of course, who doesn't like to be a Viking? Now, as you can see here, I have selected Hordaland as our current starting area. We have yet to create our custom ruler. That will be done in a moment. Now, join me in this game of kings and war, death and destruction, rising and falls of empires, as we cut a bloody swath through the world and let them fear the mighty Skallagrimson Dynasty. Now, let's begin with our custom ruler creation. Now, obviously we'll either be male or female. The name of the dynasty will be the Skallagrimson. And for the first name, Strybjorn. We are Strybjorn Skallagrimson. Now, one of the things that I never liked about Crusader Kings 3 was the fact that you cannot create your own custom dynasty coat of arms or that of the realm. You have to basically randomize until you get something to your liking, whereas in Crusader Kings 2 you are able to easily just go by using the arrows. While slow sometimes, you are able to mix and match various different coat of arms to create something somewhat unique. So let's go ahead and find something that suits the Skallagrimson dynasty. Might as well go with a hammer here. As for the realm, I believe the standard one should be fine. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to make this our first custom ruler here, a military dynamo. So basically, he is going to be able to take out anyone he decides to. Of course, whether his sons, daughters, and so forth follow in his legacy to conquer more and more territory, let's hope that works. So what we're going to do is we're going to give him Wrathful, which in most other religions would be considered a sin. But with the Astaru faith, it's a virtue. And likewise, forgiving is a sin to the Astaru faith. Now, what this does is it gives +3 martial, which is basically how good a military ruler like strategy, and so forth. Whereas prowess is more about like personal combat ability. So we're going to want to have a mixture of both great prowess as well as good martial. Now, of course, brave is another one that we're going to want to go ahead and increase our martial as well as prowess. Now, as you can see, our martial is pretty excellent, considering we have brilliant strategist, which brings it up to 8. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come down here into other traits, and we're going to go ahead and make him a legendary blade master, as well as we're going to make him a berserker. Just because berserker adds a nice little, some nice little flavor to our character, and who doesn't want to be a Viking berserker, right? So, as you can see, we're pretty much terrible in diplomacy, and we're pretty terrible in intrigue. So we're just going to go ahead and cut those and bring those down to 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually go ahead and see. We're actually going to just raise our stewardship a bit. This will allow us to hold more lands directly instead of just having to assign them to vassals and everything. And we're also going to go ahead and increase learning ever so slightly. This way, if we ever become the cultural head, it'll allow us to research a lot faster. From then on, we're just going to go ahead and spend points. Okay, looks like 12 is okay. So that looks like it is the most. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finalize here. And our character is created. And now we're going to go into game rules. And of course, we're going to enable Iron Man mode. We're going to have basically just the default of settings. And now we are good to go. Let's jump right into it. Right, so the first thing we need to do, of course, is we need to go ahead and set our lifestyle. So, with the lifestyle, we could either select strategy, authority, or chivalry. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side, each one gives various different things. I personally am a fan of the chivalry tree because it gives prowess as well as an attraction modifier for our wives, concubines, and so forth. However, authority is also really good if you have a very high, prowess already, which we do. We have 25 prowess. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select authority focus. However, I will be focusing on the gallant tree first, just to get Peacemaker. So Peacemaker basically makes wars a lot easier in the long run. So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to find a decent spouse. Well, first, let's go ahead and see how many troops we have. So we have a base of 465 troops. Not bad. So we're definitely going to have find someone who will give us a decent amount of troops as allies in case we need them, as well as someone that is relatively close. Let's see, Sogin. So Sogin is basically right on our border up top, so that would prevent us from expanding that way for the time being, but it would give us 684 troops and allies, and we could always break the agreement, and she is closer to our arrogant, gregarious, and greedy. Let's see what else we have. Hijotoland. He has 626. I mean, it won't matter in the long run, but I do like the fact I do want to expand up towards, uh, like I'm going to be conquering Norway, so I'm going to have to go after them for a while. So hold a great blot. I don't want to do that right now, even though it says that I can, just because I don't have the gold or the to be able to do so right now. So, increase opinion. Yeah, not endorsed by Godi. That's obvious. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and allow this to go. I personally usually play on 5. But that's just because of the fact that I've played this game multiple times, and it's a lot easier in the long run because this can be a very long game, especially on Iron Man mode. So we're gonna go ahead, and we have 512 troops. So let's go ahead and see what our neighbors are at. Okay, so our neighbors are around 700. They have decently, like, Sogan has a decently high prowess, so that could be troubling. Roglin, however, would be ripe for the taking, but what we're going to do right now is we're actually going to go ahead and increase that by 2. So we're going to end up hemorrhaging some prestige right now, but once these guys are up and ready, we'll be able to take on Rogland, and that'll allow us to... Oh, okay, so we got our first event here. It behooves as chieftain to spend time at the sea, with the salty air in his face and a fine vessel beneath his feet. Today sees my personal craft in a small escorting squadron alpha drills, practice and pleasure. The short voyage has been an exhilarating change of pace from the life at court, when we spotted a distant plume of water followed by a small wave of wine-dark flesh rolling out of the waves. The greatest beast of all the deeps, a whale. So, basically, because I have an exceedingly high prowess, this is basically just a free 100 gold. So that'll help in the long run. Just being able to purchase, if I ever actually convert the Astaru faith, that'll allow me to purchase buildings and everything like that. I believe, yes. Okay, so it does cost money and prestige to be able to purchase buildings as well. So let's go ahead and check on our troops, see if they're up to snuff yet, and wait for our men-at-arms to be fully stocked. Okay, so we're at 712, so we will be at a slight disadvantage, but our prowess should allow us to take over them. So we're actually going to conquer their county, and we're going to raise all of our armies. We will be the ones leading, and yeah, let's take on Rogland. So as you can see, even though they had a slight advantage, because we were better prowess, that kind of sucks. By the way, I forgot. Let's go ahead and go to court, and let's go ahead and search for a court physician, since we got that free $100, as well as decisions. Determine our personal deity. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select Thor, Friend of Humanity. And the reason I'm going to select Thor is it'll increase my stewardship, but as well as increase my prowess. And it looks like my wife is now pregnant. Okay, and now that we have won the siege, as you can see over here, all we have to do is go ahead and enforce our demands, and so be it. And now Rogland is part of our mighty growing empire. So let's go ahead and disband all. And you know what? Let's raise a runestone. And it'll be about my vanquished foe, and we will put it right where we defeated our vanquished foe. Okay, so I have a son now. Excellent. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that name. At least I can pronounce Bersi or Bersi. So we're going to give him martial focus, and we're actually going to have him become our ward. And that way we can hope that he he'll become our thing. So right now we could create the Duchy of Gulapingslog. However, we don't have enough gold right now. But that will change here in a moment. So once these are... Okay, so we are at full. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to raid... We're going to go ahead and raid Ireland. Oh, looks like someone's already been raiding Ireland. So let's go ahead and get some cash here from Leinster. Okay, so yes, we could make money trading As my troops and I prepare to sack the lands of Leinster, our first scouts report back. It seems the local towns are rich, but many are heavily fortified, and we could well be caught out by our vengeful armies before we can break into the juiciest targets. All is not lost. The art of good raiding is all in exploiting opportunity, and we could perhaps arrange trade and tribute in exchange for staying our blades. So yes, we could make money trading, pillage it anyways, so we will continue raiding Leinster, and I'd lose 30 stress because I'm wrathful. Or what kind of lily-livered feudal coward makes money without raiding? So I pillage Leinster and refuse to think about trading instead of raiding for the rest of my life. That sounds like a real Viking to me. So here we are, we're pillaging Leinster. And, ooh, nice. So we took someone as a prisoner. Their skills aren't really that good, but we'll get to that at some point. Maybe we'll execute them. Maybe we'll, if they're worth anything, we'll trade them for gold. So the settlement of Gabran, an important stronghold in Greater Ossory, has fallen to my raiders. We have the run of vast tracts of land and many of the quivering subjects and shining treasures of the chieftain whatever to choose from. The troops stand ready, awaiting my command to give them this direction. Bring me bounteous plunder. Now, let's go ahead and As you can see, Ireland, no match for the might of the Vikinger. So let's just go ahead. We have 67 gold, so we're at our full. So let's go ahead and head back to Hordaland and become a Jarl. Since right now we're just a normal chieftain. So not only do we have more prestige, which will allow us to go ahead and increase these. So let's go ahead and see how much. So they have 950 troops. So they're basically inferior to us right now. Let's go ahead and wait for our troops to get fully. Okay, so another event. The wilderness is calling out to me. It's been too long since I last hunted. Out there in the taiga of Hordaland, there are plenty of flighty hearts. One of them, those would do well on my dinner table tonight. Something is missing, though. Are my hunting spears too old and dull, or is a companion I lack? I should make sure to prepare well. So a new hunting dog is all I need. Newly forged spears. You know what? I want a dog. I want to have a dog. As I pet the dog on the head, he happily wags his tail. What name would suit him? Something historical. Something alluding to his gray fur. It is important decision. And as the dog rolls over to let me pet his stomach, I find myself distracted for a while. But wait, I know. I will name him. Let's go with something. Let's go with Wolf. So once my troops are fully healed, fully reinforced, what I can do is I can go down here, and basically I can go like this. I can declare war, and we're going to subjugate Chieftain Quixote. So right now he doesn't have any allies. So with our superior force, as well as our prowess, he will become our first vassal. And we will get 2 territories in the process. And it looks like we unlocked our second martial lifestyle point. So I'll choose chivalric dominance, which gives knight effectiveness 75%. So basically, anyone who has that will have 75% better. Bercy. So my son basically is an unusually calm child. When the others play their wild games, Bercy often withdraws to some silent corner. He does not speak a lot, but I can tell he's always thinking about something. So basically, he's gotten pensive, which isn't bad. It's not what I would have liked. I would have preferred him to have, like, rowdy, which would increase his martial. But pensive isn't too bad. Going after my capital, huh? Well, let's just... Well, going after Rogdalan. Wolf, feet and paw. It has become a habit to walk Wolf daily, and I am not sure which of us enjoy the fresh air and sun the most. Wolf bounds ahead and barks as if to say catch up. So it'll give me a medium health boost, which is pretty nice, so I'll potentially live longer. Okay, so stranger, he has been waiting outside the castle gates for a week, my liege. The man bows deeply. His name is Juven. Okay, so he's actually not too terrible and martial. I mean, he could be a lot better. His prowess is awful. But you never know, depending on... He might make a counselor, considering 2 of my counselors just died. So, let's go ahead and have him embrace Odin and become a Staru. And then we'll we'll talk about him joining. So we'll go ahead and conquer these guys and basically just get him as my vassal. So let's go ahead and disband all. So now, as you can see, we have all this southern Norway now. Okay, so I need a new chancellor. Yeah, might as well. Like, he's the best bet right now. I mean, yeah, my steward is better in the position, but he's got the highest. Yeah. Marshal. Okay, we'll actually assign Juven as the marshal. So let's go ahead and increase county control since we're going to need to do that. Let's go ahead and see if there's anyone that we can ransom for money. Okay, unable to ransom them, and they don't cost money. So let's go ahead and get our troops back to full. Okay. So our goal for the very first episode is maybe make the Kingdom of Norway. Though that does require 16 counties, which could be pretty difficult depending on how fast we go. So let's go ahead and conquer Pellamork next. Like, we'll focus on taking over the southern region first. So, okay, so now my spouse will be able to... Could help one of my chancellors, but let's go ahead and just have her stay with me. I could get some more concubines, but... Let's focus on making the Kingdom of Norway. And let's go on a brutal slaughtering spree. Vesterfold. Okay, it looks like I have a second son now. His prowess is actually like lower than the first one. So we will have Ingvar, and he will also be my ward. So it doesn't seem like I'm going to need a concubine, which is something that sometimes happens, depending on how active your character can be. So we'll go with Never Back Down. So I can create another duchy, however I don't have the cash, so I could go raiding. But since I don't have enough champions right now, and I want to focus on getting ready for... Okay, so these guys are actually going to be a bit difficult to take, since they are basically allied to two people right now. Sogin would be pretty easy to take. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Sogin, and then we're going to call it for the episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to declare war. We're going to take the chiefdom of Sogin. We're going to raise our troops. Ah, that was a close one. They really don't want me to take Sogin. They just keep coming back. My dog will join me in our council meeting. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, it looks like the worst that could happen is me getting 75 more prestige. Alright, so it looks like we took Sogan. So we are on our way to creating the Kingdom of Norway. And we will continue that next episode as we continue the tale of Jarl Strybjorn, soon to be King Strybjorn of Norway, in the Strybjorn Dynasty. So, again, this looks like a good place to stop, and let me know in the comments section down below if you've enjoyed this content, as well as any tips and tricks that might help, or if you just want to say, hey, hello, hi. Like, share, and subscribe for more epic gaming content here at Pick Your Poison Gaming, and I will see you later. Peace.